I occasionally get asked how I got introduced to the Stoic philosophy. I never had a formal introduction to Stoic ideas. It's just that my everyday life, growing up in the dangerous and destitute conditions of the Northview Heights public housing projects, taught me the Stoic concept of focusing only on what I could control. At school and in my neighborhood, I dealt with what is technically known as bullying or teasing. I say technically because although it would be classified as such, it went way beyond what typically comes to mind when you imagine those things. Whether it was on the school bus, the schoolyard, or around the neighborhood, there was always someone harassing you, and that harassment always led to a physical confrontation. During my childhood, my psyche was fighting a battle on two fronts. Domestically, I dealt with the emotional instability and physical abuse of my mother, and at school, there was no respite either. My middle school was so violent that the administration enacted a uniform policy to cut down on the possibility of gang affiliation amongst the students. The sound of gunshots was a regular occurrence during the night, and during the day, the elementary school I went to had gang fire shooting drills just in case the violence spilled over into the day. My childhood was a war zone, and I was a civilian caught in the crossfire. If I wanted to survive, I'd have to upgrade my mental toolkit. The only way I managed to keep myself sane was by retreating into my mind and focusing on the things that I had control over. As a child, I couldn't do anything about where I lived or who I went to school with. I couldn't control the behavior of my mom or other kids. I was born into unfortunate circumstances that came with great risk, but there was nothing I could do about any of it. The only thing I could control was how I lived, thought, and behaved. The Serenity Prayer from Alcoholics Anonymous has addicts pray for the serenity to accept what they can't change, the courage to change what they can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This idea was also expressed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus when he said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals, not under my control, and which have to do with choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own." This approach is key to resilience in rough environments. External conditions won't change, but charting your own course grants you freedom and gives you a purpose. Stoicism's ancient dichotomy of control remains potent for focusing power while letting go of unwinnable battle. Mastering this mindset helps us thrive amidst the adversity's inherent chaos. There is a line from the international best-selling memoir Man's Search for Meaning that sums up the idea of focusing on what you control quite nice. Now, for context, the author, Viktor Frankl, is a Holocaust survivor who witnessed the horrors of the concentration camps firsthand because he was a prisoner there. He says that one of the ways he survived was to remember this idea. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This mindset empowers us to liberate mental energy that would be wasted worrying over uncontrollable things. Instead, we can invest that energy into spheres where our choices and skills really matter. In Frankl's case, what mattered most was surviving the camps. In my case, I couldn't control poverty in my neighborhood, but I could control studying hard to maximize my chances of getting a scholarship that would take me out of there. I couldn't stop school bullying altogether, but I could control not letting it make me cruel or bitter. My day-to-day life may have been difficult, but I didn't have to let that make me difficult to deal with. Of course, fully maintaining composure at all times is impossible. The idea isn't perfection, it's simply to make progress towards a way of thinking that will lead to greater life satisfaction. We cannot erase anger or sadness over mistreatment, but we can lessen the grip external negativity has over us. It need not derail our purpose or progress. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, wrote in his book Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is more to this mindset of building resilience by framing events more thoughtfully to minimize suffering. We assign meaning to circumstance, so why not shift our perspective to bring us tranquility? This outlook reminds us we always have power over our reactions and ambitions, even if our surroundings seem imposing. Environmental influences alone do not shape destiny. Many figures rose from dire conditions by mastering what they could change through willpower, determination, and grit. So, in rough spots, remember, you may not control all events, but you have autonomy over the only thing that truly matters: how you respond. Your Your judgments determine whether external factors defeat or empower you. With this wisdom, you can thrive amidst almost any hardship. And if you got something out of this video today, make sure you like, comment, or subscribe. I know you get tired of hearing it, but those things will really help the channel grow and allow other people to discover this wisdom as well. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Remember, the rest is up to you.